Hello, friends. Nice to see you. Well, see you. One simple idea today about faith, that where we look is where we go. I was a young father with young children teaching the twins how to ride a bike. And I want you to picture a big park and my daughter on a bike going straight into a tree, smack, like something out of a cartoon. Now, what happened was we went to this park so that we would have a injury-free, grass-based bike learning experience. And I said to Lauren when she got on the bike, sweetheart, whatever you do, don't look at the tree. There's only one tree in the park, sweetheart, don't look at the tree. Everywhere else is safe, don't look at the tree. Because if you look at the tree, that's where you go. So off she went, and this dopey dad had put one idea in her mind, and that was the tree. And so as she went off, she was heading straight for the tree. And I was shouting to her, Lauren, don't look at the tree, don't look at the tree, don't look at the tree. Smack, straight into the tree. Oh dear. I think she can ride a bike now. I don't think she does it much. The point is we tend to go where we look, and it's true of bike riding, and it's also true of our inner life and how our inner life works itself out. You've observed that, haven't you? That it's one of the reasons why Jesus says pray for your enemies, as a way to overcome the agony that you experience when people are against you and you know you've got an enemy. If you pray for them, what you're looking at is the potential trophy of God's goodness in their life. And it changes the way that you treat them, because you're fixing your eyes on something quite different than the internal ruminations and agonies that you might experience at the injustice of the way you're being treated. Now, all of this comes from a passage in Hebrews chapter 12, which is a purple passage, I think, really very significant and important. I memorised it early when I was a Christian, and I knew I had to, because I, maybe like some of you, but certainly for me, I tend to get an idea in my head and fixate on it, and it's not helpful. Usually problems, injustice maybe, fairness, self-worth type thoughts. And so I've memorised this, but I'll read it to you. Therefore, it's from Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews is up the back of the New Testament. Look it up in your index. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Well, that's a desirable thing, to run a race with perseverance, but how are you going to do it? How are you going to throw off those things that entangle so easily? And the answer is here, verse 2. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus. Where you look is where you go. Fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. That is, he's deeply invested in our faith. And it goes on to say, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. So the big idea, you go where you look, and we look at Jesus. Because he's invested in our faith, he wants our inner thinking, our inner life, and the outcomes of our life to be the joy that he experienced as he went through the process of taking a long view, taking hold of the promises of God. This last week, then, I've brought this passage back to mind because there have been some problems that I've been dealing with. Been happy times too. I've travelled all over Sydney, really, from eastern suburbs way out west to visit people. But, you know, things happen and things have happened. And my eyes had been fixed on the problems, not on Jesus. So basically what I found myself doing was worshipping the problem and complaining to Jesus. Ever experienced that? Well, I did. I needed to recall this verse, bring it to the forefront of my thinking and my prayers, because what I'm supposed to be doing is worshipping Jesus and praying about the problems so that I see them as potential trophies of the goodness of God rather than something that is going to dominate my life. So I look to Jesus, worship Jesus, Put him first. Problems will come. That's why we've been told about this. The problem for the Hebrew church was that they were losing faith, and so the writer to the Hebrews gave them all these examples of all these people who'd acted with faith and overcome. And he wants us to know that they acted in faith and they didn't really know what they were looking to. They didn't really know about Jesus. But of course, God inspired faith in them and they pursued that. They fixed their faith, their life, their thinking, their attitudes, their efforts on the outcome that was best for God. Now we have brilliant Jesus, our advocate, the author and perfecter of faith, who endured the cross. But he wasn't fixed on the cross. He was fixed on the glory of his Father. Not my will but yours, he said. He was fixed on the will of God in his life. And so what we need to do is to work out, get a diary and work out in any given week, what am I looking at? How am I spending my time? What in my inner life, in my mind and in my soul, what am I looking at? And if it's not Jesus, then we need to take each of those things that we've recorded and turn them into potential trophies of grace, not the things that we worship de facto. We fix our eyes on Jesus. Friends, we'll be back together again soon. I look forward to that. They have been challenging times, been good times too. I'll continue to visit people. Love an invitation from you. Hebrews, fix our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the Father. Amen.